Have you ever given any thought to relocating to Montana? Well, in this video, we're at the University of Montana in Missoula, and we're going to go out and look at some neighborhoods and sites around Missoula so you can get an idea of what the landscape looks like and what housing costs might be. I'm Craig Cyphers, and with my third-generation realtor daughter, Erica, we're Cyphers Family Real Estate at Exit Realty Valley South. And we get calls, texts, and emails virtually every day from people just like you who are looking to move to various communities in western Montana. And in order to be in the know about Montana real estate here at the Montana Real Estate Channel, you want to hit that logo down on the lower right of your screen and subscribe so that you're in the know all the time about stuff that's happening. Whether you're moving in 9 days, 90 days, or 3 years, you want to be a resource for you. So stay with us till the end of the video, and everything that you need in order to get a hold of us is in the description below. So let's go out and discover Missoula.
I really want to give you some perspective on what we're going to see today. And so if you'll bear with me, I am going to kind of show you where we're at. If you'll follow the cursor, here's US Highway 93, comes up, goes along I-90, Interstate 90. And we're going to start our tour. We started it right here at the Grizzly statue. And then what we're going to do is we're going to travel up 93, which is actually Brooks Street, and Brooks is Highway 12, Highway 93. Then it goes on to Higgins Avenue. We'll go up here and take in both North and South Higgins. We're going to see some of the downtown of Missoula, and we're going to take in a little bit of Caras Park. That's right there on the river, right here, Caras Park. And then after we take a look at Caras Park, we'll go a little bit up north to what we call the North Side. And the North Side is an older neighborhood that we'll travel through and take a look at some of the price points that we might expect there and see the neighborhood. And then what we'll do is we'll come back down to downtown and we'll go to Brook Street, which is just down here below us near St. Patrick's Hospital. We'll go past that. We'll go past the courthouse. And then we'll take a bit of a detour and we'll head over to the south side of town, and there we will take in the area known as Miller Creek. And Miller Creek is right here. In addition to upper and lower Miller Creek, we have this area up here that overlooks the city called the South Hills. And when we get done with the South Hills, we will head back down to the Broadway area. And what we'll do is we're going to cross the Van Buren Street footbridge, which is just down here by on the river. We'll cross that on foot, and when we get there, we'll travel over to Washington Grizzly Stadium. We're going to come across the bridge right here, and when we come across the bridge, we're going to come down here and go down to Washington Grizzly Stadium here. And then for our final neighborhood tour, we will take in what's called the University District. And the University District is a wonderful neighborhood, and we'll see a number of homes in that area. And then we'll wrap up our tour of Missoula. So hang in there with us. It's not going to be bad. We're going to have a good time. And we're going to start with our Brooks Street, or Highway 93, Highway 12, all going out to the north. And here we're just going through the business district on Brooks, and you got your big stores here. We're going to pick up the box stores are going to be over on Reserve, but you got Cabela's here, you got Men's Warehouse, you got Jimmy John's. So Missoula was founded in 1866, and it sits at an elevation of 3,209 feet and was incorporated as a town in 1883, and later in 1885 as a city. And cities are considered bigger than towns, so presumably Missoula grew quite a bit in that 2-year period. Now today, Missoula has a population of approximately 77,000 people, and you've got all the conveniences that you would expect in a larger cities, and it's got some great cultural elements of it as well. It is a university town, as we saw when we started out. We were at the University of Montana. So as we travel down Brooks, here we're seeing basically the other side of Brooks, and we've got all sorts of stores. You've got Southgate Mall and banks, etc. So Missoula is known for its blue ribbon trout fishing on the Clark Fork River, which we'll check out, particularly when we cross over the Van Buren Street walking bridge, as well as Caras Park. And so we're going to have some fun with this. Hopefully you'll learn a little bit of information. I think what we're seeing over here is Hobby Lobby. This is Hellgate High School as we go down Higgins Avenue, and we're going to get down here a little ways and check out some of the shops.
Here we are in downtown Missoula. This is on the south end of Higgins Avenue. This is an area called the Hip Strip. And down here we've got Ciao Mambo, a great Italian restaurant. We've got a number of super little stores. We've got Betty's Divine, which is a cool little shop. And then off in the distance, you can see the old Milwaukee train station that sits down on the river. So this is the north end of Higgins. We'll go downtown. We'll take a look at the Caras Park and the south end of Higgins Avenue, which is a large part of the business district here in downtown Missoula. And we'll point out some kind of cool places. Here we are on the north end of Higgins Avenue in downtown Missoula at the Missoula train depot. There are no passenger trains that come through here any longer. Amtrak did many decades ago, but now that goes up north through Whitefish. You'll remember that the right-of-way for the Northern Pacific going into the Bitterroot Valley was acquired by James Hamilton, for which the town of Hamilton is named after. So we're going to set up here and take a look at Higgins Avenue, which is really the big business district in downtown Missoula, the old part of Missoula. A lot of cool shops. So we're just going to kind of set up for a little bit and go from there.
Here's my daughter and business partner, Erica, walking towards the 4Xs. These bright red 4X sculptures in Circle Square have been Missoula's most visible and most talked about piece of public art since its installation in 1986. The 4 king-size metal Xs represent the railroad trestles that provide passages across mountain canyons. And we're going to look down here at Higgins Avenue is very busy, and Higgins Avenue comes from one of the founders of Missoula, Christopher P. Higgins, and his partner, Francis L. Warden. And Warden Market is just down on Higgins there. A lot of activity, as you can tell. So let's go check out more spots in Missoula, starting with Caras Park.
Here we are in downtown Missoula at Caras Park. I've got the Clark Fork River roaring behind me, and it's Brennan's Wave, named after Brennan Guth, who tragically died in a kayak accident on foreign soil. And they developed this series of waves here in the Clark Fork River that gets an awful lot of recreational activity, whether it's kayaks, even boogie boards and surfboards. And over here at Caras Park, we have the pavilion, and there's all sorts of events that take place in Caras Park. Out to lunch, brew fests. So if you look up Caras Park, Google it, you'll find that there are activities just about year-round, but certainly when it's beautiful weather like it is today.
The 1883 arrival of the Northern Pacific Railroad The north side grew with the railroad's early 20th century expansion. Simple housing predominated in the working class neighborhood, which contained few brick homes. So naturally, some of these little frame homes were built in the era from the 1880s through the mid 20th century, and they range in size from 700 square feet, 2-bed, 1-bath homes that currently sell in the mid 300s, to renovated homes that can be as large as 2,000 square feet, 4-bedroom homes. There are a number of infill properties that can sell for as much as $700,000 for a 2-bed, 3-bath home. And there was one that was built there in 2023. And some of them can be as small as 1,400 square feet. There are also condos and townhouses that range in price from the mid 200s range to over 300. And typically these condos and townhouses are less than 1,000 square feet and range from 1-bed, 1-bath to 3-bed, 2-bath. So you've got quite a little mix here on the north side, and provides for some relatively inexpensive housing in the Missoula market. So, and you can see this in the video here, the various little neighborhood homes on the north side, just below Interstate 90. Start of the video, I had misspoken about going back down Brooks Avenue. This is actually Broadway, and we have a fresh market there. Just up here a little ways, we also have St. Patrick's Hospital. In 1873, the Sisters of Providence came to the Missoula Valley to passionately serve those in need, especially the poor and vulnerable, and they opened St. Patrick Hospital, which we're going to see up here on the left, as a nonprofit from a one-room structure to its current state-of-the-art medical center. And it is phenomenal health care here. They have the Heart Institute, a terrific health facility. Further, we're going to come across the Missoula County Courthouse, and the courthouse that you'll see up here on the left was designed by famed architect A.J. Gibson, and we've seen other work of his in our videos, and it was built in 1910 and listed on the National Register of Historic Places, and the annex was linked to it in 1966. Now, this is the bus station in Missoula. Missoula has phenomenal public transportation that's so important to know. And here's City Hall. And now let's go out and look at a neighborhood. Start with Miller Creek, and we'll start at the Linda Vista Golf Course. It's a small 9-hole public course with Miller Creek Cafe. And there are 6 golf courses in Missoula, so there's plenty of options for hitting the links in Missoula. Now, Linda Vista is just one development in the lower Miller Creek area, and it really took off in the 70s. So we'll look at some of the houses in the lower Miller Creek area, and then we'll move on up to the upper Miller Creek area. Options for housing in the lower Miller Creek area, and it's growing quite rapidly. They have a new elementary school there called the Jeanette Rankin Elementary School that was built in 2018. And Jeanette was a very interesting politician. She's the only legislator to vote against both world wars, which was reflecting her deep commitment to pacifism. That particular elementary school sits on 8 acres, and this growing area has homes that are priced from $600,000 to over $1 million. And the area, as I mentioned, continues to grow, and so there are a lot of housing options here in the lower Miller Creek, and that also includes some relatively new multifamily. So these are wonderful neighborhoods. It's March now, and the leaves are off the trees, but these are mature neighborhoods for the most part. As I mentioned earlier, this really took off in the 70s, but we've got brand new construction happening as we speak. And so we'll get around the corner here and see some pretty good sized houses and some multifamily. It appears that we've got either some condos or some apartment buildings. And then we get into some pretty good sized houses as we get a little further to the south in this area of Lower Miller Creek. So we'll just take a look at some of these houses, and you can see it's all brand new construction. In fact, it appears that they're just in the process of building. As we go along in the Lower Miller Creek, what we're going to do is head back up past Linda Vista, and we'll go up Upper Miller Creek, which has got a very interesting history, and we'll share that with you. Upper Miller Creek has a rich history. As I mentioned before, the parcels range in size from, say, 400 acres up in the forested areas, and in the 2-acre parcels in the more densely populated areas as you get closer towards Missoula. There currently is nothing for sale in the Upper Miller Creek. The oldest home I know of in the Upper Miller Creek was built in 1912 and sits on about 30 acres. And this is the area of the KO Rodeo Grounds where they held the Oral Zumwalt Memorial Rodeo. Oral Zumwalt was a very famous cowboy born in about 1903 in Arizona. What you'll want to do is Google Oral Zumwalt to learn more about this colorful character, and that's ORALCUMWALT. Very much worth learning more about him. This was also the location of the world's largest kegger, the Aberday keg. Aberday keg was a fundraiser for the University of Montana Library, I believe. In 1979, the Guinness Book of World Records dubbed it the largest nonprofit benefit kegger ever held, with over 10,000 people attending and more than 1,016-gallon kegs of beer refreshingly being consumed. And it started in 1972 by one of the departments at the University of Montana, and carried on with live music and a lot of interesting things happening until 1979. In fact, I was able to take in the last Aberday keg in 1979. Now you can see there's a larger density of houses as we've gotten a little closer towards Missoula. And our next neighborhood is going to be an area we just a little bit to the east of the Miller Creek area called the South Hills, and that looks down over Missoula, so we'll take a look at that. The South Hills area was developed from the early 70s through the mid-90s, and homes range in size from 1,100 square feet to over 3,000 square feet, and prices typically range from the $425 price point up to $650,000. And you can see Snowbowl ski area off to the north. And Snowbowl ski area there is got a 2,600 vertical drop, top elevation at 7,600 and a base at 5,000. So it's a great ski area. Now, the properties here, you can find condos in this neighborhood from the mid-300s. And these lots provide excellent views of the city below. And you can see that the twinkling lights and more of Snowbowl, but these properties typically are on 1/4 to 1/3 acre lots. And we'll get up here a little further and we'll take another look down on the city. Beautiful lights when you're up here. You're looking down on what's called 39th Street, and then over a little further to the north is Brooks Avenue, which we came in on earlier. So you can see Snowbowl there in the back if you look carefully. Now, what we're going to do is take a look at the Van Buren Street Bridge. We're going to walk across Van Buren Street with Erica, and we laughed about the auto parts store, and that was where we took off from. And the Van Buren Street Bridge connects Broadway, East Broadway, with the University of Montana campus as we cross the Clark Fork River, where we were down there earlier at the Terrace Park. And Erica has 2 degrees from the University of Montana. So she's headed back to campus. She's got an accounting degree and she has a degree in finance. And so she can help you with all sorts of real estate opportunities. So when we get over here across the bridge, we're going to be on the University of Montana campus, and then we're going to cross an area where a lot of people walk their dogs. It's the river trail system, a lot of hiking opportunities in Missoula. And this particular day was absolutely beautiful. And a lot of people are out there with their dogs and enjoying the weather. And what we'll do is we'll walk a little ways across campus here, and we'll get to a spot where a lot of folks will set up for Grizzly football tailgating. And we'll walk across the tailgate area. There's our river trail system. And you can see in the far background up on the hill the M in Missoula. And this is the area where you'll often see tailgaters set up. And we're going to go over and check out the Washington Grizzly Stadium, which is where the Grizzlies play football, and it's big sport in Missoula. Mr. Dennis Washington, who was a construction magnate from Missoula, who donated $1 million to finance the stadium's construction in 1985, and it seats 25,217 people and gets pretty boisterous. So now we are in the University District, and the University District is a very coveted area in Missoula for housing. In the University District generally were built from the late 1930s through the mid-1950s, and typically on less than a quarter-acre lot. And prices range from the low 700s for a 2,000 to 2,500 square foot home to over $1 million for a 4-bedroom 3,200 square foot home. Days on market in this area from list to close is very short, often less than 45 days. So it is a super popular area and provides off-campus housing for those lucky enough to find an affordable apartment or rental home. You can see it's got a variety of different architectural styles. There are some newer properties, and we'll see one coming up right here. Very hard to find an empty lot in the University District. And they are a little more expensive on a cost per square foot than your typical Missoula house. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this video on Missoula on the Montana Real Estate channel. Remember to tap that logo on the lower right-hand side of your screen and subscribe. And make sure that you get all the latest information about Montana real estate provided by the Cyphers Family Real Estate. Remember, we've been providing services for those looking for real estate in Montana. Whether you're moving in or moving around the state, we've been helping you out since 1966. We look forward to seeing you next time on Montana Real Estate Channel.